what was the biggest band fight that comes to mind? Because certainly there were arguments along the way.
Well, I mean, one is you just mentioned Time of the Season. And when we were recording Odyssey and Oracle, Time of the Season is the last track on the album, Odyssey and Oracle. And Time of the Season was actually the last song that was written. And we were practicing it in the morning before we went into Abbey Road. And Abbey Road's very expensive. We had a very limited budget. And so it was very high pressure recording. And Rod is very particular, and quite rightly so, about how a song should be phrased. And he was encouraging me to phrase it in a certain way. And I was struggling because I knew we were running out of money. I'd got a big clock in front of me and I've got a red light underneath it. And I knew the red light meant we were spending money and the clock meant we were running out of money. And so there was quite a row going on between Rod and I while we were singing Time of the Season. So while I'm singing, it's the time of the season for loving, I'm also saying to Rod, for God's sake, we haven't got time for all this. And he's shouting back through the headphones at me, you know, and there were words being spoken while we were talking about the beauty of love and so forth. And that will always stick in my mind. There was another one I remember. We were in Chicago and there were hundreds of girls in the hotel just running around. And in the end, luckily, we were kicked out of the hotel because the manager said, we can't cope with hundreds of girls running around the hotel looking for the zombies and the searchers. We were touring with the searchers. Meanwhile, Rod and I were locked up in our room and I wanted the TV on and he wanted the TV off. On, off, on, off. And in the end, he stormed across the room and knocked me right off my feet. And the two of us crashed down on this rather old-fashioned single bed that had wooden sides to it. And we snapped the bed in half. Absolutely snapped it. The weight of our body snapped it in half. So we sneaked out of the hotel and we got some glue and some string. We glued it back together and put string around it, and it seemed fairly strong. But then at the last minute, as I said, we were thrown out of the hotel. So I never got to really test it, whether it would take my weight or not. And I just hope the next people in that room weren't honeymooners, because I think the earth might have moved for them because the bed might have collapsed.
Oh, baby, it was so good. We broke the bed. Colin, thank you so much for sharing the stories, the memories, and the music with me today. I really appreciate it. Tickets are available. So those of you who are a fan of Colin, the Zombies, and music in general, make sure you log on, grab yourself some tickets.